Welcome to the Interviews Podcast.
Il cross, prima intenzione, Bobo anticipato, palla vagante, mette giù, Recoba, il tiro,
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 206 of the Interviews Podcast. We are here for the post-match reaction of the Coppa Italia final, where Inter takes a 2-0 victory. Goals from Marcus Thuram or an own goal from Marusic in the 14th and Lautaro in the 35th minute, meaning that Inter has officially secured the domestic double. Gianni was just saying before, first time for Inter since the treble-winning season, first time for an Italian team since Allegri's Juventus in the 2017-2018 season. And that's it. That's a wrap. As always, I'm one half of your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Raffa, joined here by Gianni Paterno. Gianni, one of the things that you had mentioned on the pod a few times, given the way that this season had gone, was that you needed to see us bring home this second trophy. It wasn't just about the Scudetto. Everything that we had gone through this year, the early Champions League exit, some of the performances in some of the big games during the season, you felt very strongly that for this season to rise to the level of special, they needed to get this done. They go ahead and do it today in a completely dominant performance. How are you feeling now that your objective has been nailed on and secured?
I mean, it's incredible. It really is. Couldn't be more happy and proud of these guys for the way that they were able to overcome a lot of challenges this season. You know, I think it was, I don't want to say tumultuous, but I think for fans, it was a little bit of a toxic season.
For sure.
Because of, just how things were perceived. And I mean, I know I had my difficulties, I guess I would put it, in really giving Kibu a lot of credit and his flowers, which he deserves. To get a domestic double, Conte didn't do it, Inzaghi didn't do it, he does it. First season he does it. That's no joke. I give him a lot of credit because where other coaches before him were successful in beating those direct rivals and being, handling things against the top six, they would fall short against the Parmas, against the Sassuolos and stuff like that. There was none of that against here. And if you really do realistically want to win the title, you got to beat those teams. He did do it, and I'm sure he's going to continue to mature and grow and be able to turn things around. I mean, I wanted it to be faster. I did want things to change in a way, especially against the direct rivals in terms of tactical flexibility and stuff like that. But if I put away my own disappointments in that aspect aside and actually look from the big picture of what he was able to do, it is incredible. It really is. And I think any Interisti who is unwilling to do that or is still finding things to nitpick is just trying to be edgy or hipster or whatever you want to put it, because this is incredible. In your first season as a foreign coach, not an Italian coach, like club legend, pressure on it. Whether you want to admit that or not, that's up to you. But there is pressure with that. Look, Seedorf didn't do well. Gattuso, I don't remember. Pirlo. Did Pippo Inzaghi go? If I'm not mistaken, he was one of the three. No,
he was. He ended up doing Salernitana, but not Milan.
There was another Milan great who went back besides Seedorf and Gattuso, but he didn't do well either, and I can't remember now who it was. Doesn't matter. It is pressure, and for him to do it and actually
was it Leonardo?
I don't think Leonardo did
he
poorly.
Play for them?
He did play for them, but I don't think he did poorly. I thought it was like from that era of players there with when it was Seedorf and Gattuso. Anyway, it's awesome. You saw the way the players are reacting and celebrating on the sidelines, and the way that they're joking around and interacting with Kibu. That should not be overlooked. It really shouldn't. Like that does mean something. You have a coach who does connect with these players. I think because they all understand the weight of wearing that kit and what it means to play for Inter. To see us be able to get this domestic double. And honestly, I wasn't nervous. I really wasn't. I
They were
think
definitely better. That was what I coming into the game, like not feeling nervous, was down to the fact that Inter was 110% superior to Lazio as a squad, as a team.
It really was. And when you look at the game, it never felt like it was out of control. There was zero doubt. There was like maybe one threat that Lazio really had, and it was the shot that Bulaidia kind of just put at Jose Martinez's head, and he still made the save. I don't care how he made the save.
I'll take them all.
And I think that this game, in my opinion, just puts any goalkeeping rumor to bed.
It
has to. It absolutely has to. He is the guy. You see the way he also interacts with his teammates after every big clearance, after every big block, whatever it is. He is the one hyping them up. He is also hyped up. And I feel like anyone who comes into that box, he will fight them to the death to make the save. Like, he will lay it all on the line. He will use his head. He will dive at anybody's feet. He is the guy that it has to be going forward. And yeah, I mean, hats off to these guys. I can't express how happy I am. It's a double is awesome. No matter what league it's in, it is awesome.
I think you perfectly expressed and captured the feeling of the moment. I really think you did. And I don't want to spend this episode doing a whole season review, right? Because it's very easy. This is the last objective. It's the last game with any sort of meaning. It's very easy for us to get into that. I do think that we should save that, dedicate a specific episode to it. And I want to keep it on Inter Lazio here. So I won't dive too much into the comments you made outside of just, praising them for what they are, which is the absolute truth. This was not supposed to happen. A team that was in the position mentally that they were in, with a coach, who doesn't have much on his CV outside of, Interista running through his veins. This was not supposed to happen. So the praise needs to be quite loud. And I think you and I will have the opportunity to do so. Maybe we'll, depending on how that last game goes, if there's not much to talk about, maybe we'll use that as the episode where we dive into it all. But as far as this game is concerned, you start with Peppo. So let's start with Peppo. You do not see very often a backup who is the clear backup show without a shred of doubt that he deserves this full-time job. You don't really see that, and especially at the goalkeeper position. And the thing that makes it so much more impressive is that he was, actively denied opportunities throughout his seasons here. Sommer was exceptional last season, so he wasn't going to get much opportunity. But you and I both said coming into this year, we had seen enough for there to be a competition. That didn't happen. Then you have a season where Sommer is giving the job away. He's actively giving the job away, and Pep still couldn't get it. The fortitude, also considering the stuff off the field that happened to him this year, the fortitude to stick it out, and when the opportunity finally does arrive for you to show your qualities, I am so impressed with this kid. I know he's not a kid, he's 27, but I'm just so impressed with him. He's so collected back there. The shot stopping is there. The coming off the line. There was an opportunity. Tijani, Sommer would have never gotten there. And Joseph was quick off the line to get there. I also, I tweeted during the game, Joseph does have one thing where he sees the ball down the middle and he takes it more often than he should be. There is a risk involved to it. But the reality is, more often than not, it came off. The distribution was wonderful. Shelve, pocket that 20-30 million that you were going for Vicario, and this is the kid. This is the guy. He earned it. He's on the pitch for us securing the domestic double.
Yeah, I don't care what our budget is, to be quite honest, this summer. I don't care. None of it should be used towards a goalkeeper. Not a single dime. Unless somebody wants to come in, and I'm not even kidding, like offer 50 million for him. There's not a single, I'm saying for Peppo, there's not a single reason that you sell or like you buy another goalkeeper is what I mean. Not a single reason. He makes himself big. He comes off the line quick. He makes the right choices. He makes the right decision with the ball at his feet more often than not. Even with on corners where I feel like Sommer caves inside the 6, like he just refuses to come out. Peppo came out, and there was even an instance there in, I forget now if it was the first or second half, but Lazio did have a corner. It came in. He punched it once. It wasn't the best punch, and he still fought through traffic to get a second punch in.
Yep.
That's not easy when you have to battle against other players for position, which those players are entitled to. You know, it's not like, unless they're pulling on him or they do something like, you know, it's a clear foul. If he misplays it and they just get it onto their feet or they're able to head it, whatever, it's in the back of the net, and he still went up. And he also, this is a good thing because he's bigger, he's able to get above them and punch up, not at someone or potentially hit. And we've seen it with Jan Sommer actually giving up a penalty in that instance. So, listen, I love this kid. I didn't want him to ever be, like, not be considered for the number 1 job. I wanted him to have a shot, and if he failed, fine. Yes, he failed. Like, on to the next one. But even if he had a poor season next year, let's say, it's still going to be better than what we saw from Jan Sommer this year. I think we could all agree with that.
The bar is so low for him
so
to clear.
low. Like, Sommer, I don't remember, the last time they showed the statistics, he was the worst goalie in an expected saves.
Post-shot expected goals.
Yes, he was the lowest. He was a negative like 3.2 the last time I had seen it. So even if Josep Martinez goes up to 0.008, I think that puts him around like 16th or 15th. If we can win the league with the worst, we can win the league with the 15th worst goal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I don't expect him to be that bad.
No.
Like we've seen it. We've seen what he is.
Definitively, who can you say is definitively better than Pep Martinez in Serie A right now? Švilar, Carnesecchi,
and Magnan.
I don't like you can't tell me Di Gregorio is better. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, you know, maybe.
I don't know. After the goal I saw that he gave up against Bologna there.
Yeah.
By the way, what a sick shot by Rowe on that third goal. Anyway, yeah, like I honestly, me personally, I know Nima's going to disagree because he has a thing for Vanja Milinkovic, which is so weird. The hills that Nima's willing to die on, it's so awkward. Like Vanja Milinkovic, and then he went on to say that the most underrated player in Serie A this season is Davide Zappacosta. We can have another debate.
I did see that.
I've got some other names. Like there was like 6 names on that top 10 list. I'm like, why?
I like the Bernabe shout. That's
Bernabe.
Like
yeah, and to put him at 10th, to say Rabiot is underrated, my brother in Christ. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get off on a tangent. But yeah, no, like I would say those 3, and I would say even towards the end of the season, Magnan's been a bit of a disappointment.
Really bad.
But I mean, I'm looking at the whole scope because he was the number 1 and we've seen what he's done throughout the whole season. I would still say those are the 3, like you said, Švilar, Carnesecchi, and Magnan. Those are the only ones that I would say are better than Joseph. And that's because they played full seasons.
And that's been sitting on our bench all year.
Sitting. Just sitting there. You know, it's like, and the crazy thing is, I mean, listen, we talked about it. I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but a man did die. You know, in an unfortunate accident that could have truly derailed him mentally.
Yeah.
You know, like even though he was found to not be at fault and supposedly this person had a cardiac event that like led to him turning into the road.
Yep. It's
so maybe it is. I mean, I don't know how I would have honestly responded myself. So the fact that he was able to still, when called upon, have an incredible impact on this team. And then you look at what he did realistically. You look at how we did in the semifinal against Como, where he literally, saved us that game.
Yep.
How he did against the multiple clean sheets that he had against Lazio. I think he actually, the only game that where in this second half of the season where he's played and he's allowed goals was that Como game where he gave up 2.
Yep.
And
the
one of them
time he really looked bad was Torino.
That was in the Coppa, and that was it.
And it was was it his first game back? Like
it was the first game that he played after the accident. Yes. Yeah. So it's like, I think if you are a human being and connect with that on a actual just a human being level, and recognize, like, yeah, you know what? First game back, he's probably going to be a little shaky because of everything that he's experienced. And if it wasn't even that bad of a game. It was just some poor decision making in terms of like coming out on corners and just, I think when you're not there mentally, those things are going to happen. So not going to crucify him for that. Listen, I feel like we can make this a full episode about Peppo, and I would be thrilled, honestly, but like, he has to be the number one. Anyone who's listening to this, I'm sure agrees. And anyone who does disagree, please comment on this episode so I can slap you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You know, you see the embrace that he has with Bastoni at the end of the game. You see the videos, like, you know, when we beat Como in Serie A, in Como at the Senigallia, and he's the first one off the bench, like running onto the pitch. Like, he is a super passionate person. And I think he gets maybe this rep of like being a little bit more reserved and low key, but it doesn't translate on the pitch. I never feel like he's not in control of his defense. Like, I don't feel that at all. I think there could be really big things for him. There's just two other comments that I want to make on this, and then we'll move on. First, you would have to imagine that there is a potential for a bid coming in for him this season. You look at this summer, you look at the way, like, his contract is not that long. You look at the way that he's performed in those minutes. We just said that there's not many better keepers, you know, in Serie A over him. You know, I've been doing a lot of scouting work and so forth, and diving into how these clubs do it. And like, you would be crazy to imagine that someone at some club does not look at him and say, great value. Inter maybe doesn't want him, or is maybe not entirely convinced by him. Great value. Like, let's go get.
I'm about to end this episode.
I'm just
talking like, I know I agree with everything that you're saying, but I do not want to be talking about this after a domestic double.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you were a scout at another team, you're like, yo, they're disrespecting this motherfucker, and he's very good. Like, let's go throw in a cheeky bid and see what we can get from Inter. The other thing I want to bring up too, if this Vicario deal does occur, remember Fabrizio Corona, who, for the people who aren't familiar, is basically a TMZ journalist. He talks a lot of trash. He's like Jared Leto's Joker. That's what he reminds me of. Like, he's just
bad.
He's an insane person, has been sued for defamation multiple times and lost. Anyway, he says new calciopoli coming up. It ends up being a scandal about players in Serie A doing laughing gas and, you know, people getting with Theo Hernandez's mom. But anyway, one of the things that he did...
I didn't think you were going to say that, but all right.
One of the things that he did bring up was one of the Raiola family members brought up the commissions with the agents and who's paying who behind the scenes. And there is no doubt in we already kind of know it. And you see stuff like the Luis Enrique deal and stuff like that. There's no doubt in my mind that if this Vicario deal does move forward, despite what we're seeing on the pitch, Auxilio he's beholden to some of these people, and it's not good. It's not good they're talking about extending him, whatever it is. We know that he's always worked these agent relationships. There's no on-pitch reason for Vicario to be purchased, and we need to acknowledge that. It needs to be acknowledged. It would entirely be an agent thing, and I don't like the look of that. Alrighty. The other player that I have to go to, because this has been an incredibly strong end to the season for Petar Sucic. Again, in the second half, there was more rotation, but again, Kivu starts with Sucic at Regista, which I think is so good for his development and for his confidence. The amount of touches this guy was seeing on the ball early to start the game. You and I spoke about this earlier in the season, where he is one of those players that he didn't seem very effective coming off the bench early in the year. And he is one of those players where, like, the ball needs to be out of his feet early and often. And once he gets into flow, he's impossible to stop. I thought today was a superb performance, and I honestly, for me, man of the match, outside of Dumfries, because he did have some really important contributions. Man of the match for me today is Petar Sucic.
Yeah, it's a great shout. I mean, he had a few balls that he played to the wings, particularly DiMarco's side, that were just a little out of reach for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if he would have connected on those, man, who knows what could have happened, really. Like, DiMarco had tons of space. He's just not pacey enough to really latch onto those. So I don't know if you really want to blame Petar or if it is just DiMarco, but regardless, it was an incredible performance. This guy, like we've said, like, he needs those touches to grow into it. He needs those opportunities to get a feel for the game, get a feel for the ball, whatever. And I feel like, it's kind of like, if you break it down, like NBA verbiage, where the guy who's got the hot hand, he needs to have it to keep the momentum going.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Sucic. So whereas Zilu and Barella, they don't need to have the ball tons of times to be effective. I think that they're both able to contribute. I think really the whole midfield three, in my opinion, played very well today.
They did.
Maybe Barella, some poor shot choices, but it was like him just trying to volley it and score worldies. And at that point, they were already up 2-0. So I really don't care.
And they all rotated with each other really effectively.
Yeah. There was no uncomfortability at all in the rotations. You would see Barella go out left, Zielinski, Regista, Petar on the right. Like, the way that these guys were interchanging positions was fantastic. Loved it all. And he is a guy that I think, another one, we're talking about Pepo, and we said it last episode too, that these two guys are going to have a role to play here next season. And it's going to be fantastic to see the growth. And you know what? I mean, really, like, normally I don't look forward to those off-season tournaments, whether they're in Australia or whatever. Like, now it's like, cool. I kind of look forward to being able to watch those at some point. And I mean, I just renewed my my passport finally. It took me forever to fix that. Who knows? Maybe I take maybe not a preseason trip, but I'm definitely going to go to the San Siro next season. I've already decided.
100%. Let's go.
I think we probably should just plan a trip.
We should definitely
we
go.
should just
100%. 100%.
That actually would be so. Anyway,
yeah.
like, I'm actually looking forward to see what we do, not just in the trainings and in player development, but also who comes in, if we do any fun things with formation. That is going to be obviously something we can talk about in the off season, but I can't wait to see, just how these two particular players develop for us.
And I think this late season surge for Sucic is the perfect way to go into the World Cup for him and for next season as well. Like, it's just a little bit after a hot start, and then, just being honest, things slowed down for him in the middle of the season. So to end like this, it really does put this season into context where you feel really good about what he's done. Also, he's a tuttocampista. He's growing into, he can do everything on the pitch. Even today, defensively, I thought, like, he battled in the first half, that specific duel that he had with Isaacson. It was like he was hyper aggressive, which he needs to be. He's a little bit slighter. Like, he needs to dig in and, be hyper aggressive to win these balls. I'm really happy for the kid. I really am. I think he's his potential is just through the roof. And apparently a Bundesliga club has checked in on him. And he said no, but that's another one that, cannot.
He ain't going anywhere.
Cannot let that happen. Cannot let that happen. Okay. Early on in this game, the press was fantastic, and we've scored a lot of goals this season with this pressing and being able to get these high turnovers, which is the way that modern football is moving. We talked about Kivu tactically and some of the ups and downs that he's had this season, but as far as like growth for him tactically, what I saw today was maximum pressure, go up by the 2 goals, and then in the second half they did, there was some heavy pressing, but it was mostly take your foot off the gas and look for opportunities to hit on the counter. Are these encouraging things for you to see from Kivu? There was a lot of talk about the tactical outclasses this year. Like, this felt like, tactically outclassing, and, Inter does have a better squad. But anyway, at the end of the day, is this growth tactically from Kivu, or is it a little bit too premature maybe to say something like that?
For me, I would say it's a little too premature. And the only reason I say that is because of the opponent. Like, if this is something that we were able to do against a Juve or a Milan, particularly Juve, because I think that they are, in terms of talent, definitely more talented than Milan.
They're coming next year. They're coming next year.
Yeah. Juve is going to be more of a battle next year for sure. If this is something that he does next season, or even in like reverse engineers it, where he decides to like do what Allegri does, which is like sit back, maybe let them have all the possession in the world, then hit them on the counters, and then in the second half, maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, even if you have a 1-goal lead, that's when you could really put the pressure on and have that press. And I've noticed that what's his name, Farioli, likes to do that in particular in Porto. Let me tell you, I've been watching a ton of the Portuguese league because, one, I'm obsessed with Farioli now, and I'm also obsessed with some of the young players there, and seeing how they play, it's beautiful. And if I'm not saying that Kivu needs to learn from these younger guys, although I don't think there's anything wrong with taking things from different managers. By any means, it doesn't matter what your age is. But I do wish that he would maybe implement some of those things where it's like you kind of ease into it. You work on the counters like Allegri does. And then if you have a lead, to make it even harder. Because if you're pressing and they have to chase the game, that's when the mistakes happen. Look at what Nuno Tavares did, right? And with the press there, Dumfries is able to, boom, come in, take the ball off to the races. Like, it becomes a nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
That might be the only, like, if we see that type of growth, and again, he may, like, the things I'm complaining about, maybe because Kivu doesn't have the personnel that he really wants to implement these things. It very well could be that. But if he is able to get the players that he wants and do these types of tactical adjustments, my goodness, like I really do fear, not just for Serie A, but I really think that we would be able to do some damage in Europe. And I'm not just saying that to be like, I don't even know, like having like a fantasy about this, but like, or sounding like fanatical. But I do think that it is something that is very realistic, because if you're able to maintain the core that's here and add like pieces like a Palestra or a Nico Paz, where you're able to add different wrinkles to it.
Yeah.
Guys, like,
the ability to throw different looks out there. Like, we haven't had that for years.
Years.
It's
and
been
I feel
a long
like
time.
that's been at our detriment, because when you have guys like a Luis Enrique, like a Pep Guardiola, who are just tactical geniuses, I think it's fair to say they can game plan for things, and they will make adjustments in game to counter that, to negate you, whatever it is. I mean, you look at how we were exploited against PSG last year. I mean,
yeah,
that you have to give him credit for. I know the mentality might not have been there because
he's an incredible coach.
He is, you know, and it's a shame that he did. I mean, I guess it's good for Inter, but like, I was actually surprised. I thought he would be a hit at Roma even back then, really, because of where he was coming from.
He was better than people think he was. He was
and you go look at those teams. It's not like what Roma's had for the last 5-6 years. Even with when they had, like, you know, Dzeko, Salah, and I think Spalletti was the manager actually at that Roma when they beat Barcelona. You know, that those are some more talented teams than what Luis Enrique had at his disposal. So anyway, I think that if Key was able to make those adaptations to his tactics and really just develop different wrinkles and different styles of play that are somewhat surprising to their opponents, we will be tough to beat.
The teams in Serie A that press to the level that Inter does are Como and Bologna. The team that doesn't press like at all is Milan. Look at the difference in goals scored, even with goals conceded. People have this impression like you press so much, like you're opening up yourself for counters, and that is true. But if you have a really good press, and what I mean by good press is that all 11 players or the 10 outfield players, when everyone is synced up and pressing as a team, those turnovers rarely happen. When you select your moments to press and you do it as a team, the counters, the chances of those happening go down significantly. And let's see how this thing develops. And like you said, additional personnel here that can help that sort of tactical game plan flourish is going to be important. Really quick before we move on, true or false? Farioli is who De Zerbi thinks he is.
100% true.
Yeah.
Like, they say that Farioli is like a descendant of De Zerbi. Farioli is what, like you said, De Zerbi wishes he is, but he is like De Zerbi on crack.
Yeah.
Like, it's much more aesthetically pleasing, much more organized. Like, his defense is the fact that they were at the start of the season in their first, like, I think it was 16 games, like 15 wins, 1 draw, and they'd only conceded 4 goals is absurd. Yep. Absurd. Like, you can say whatever jokes you want about the Portuguese league. Look at the talent that comes out of that league and the players that are developed there, and who, Vitinha, Joao Neves. Like, I mean, even look at Hjulmand. He's developing into an even bigger monster out there. Granted, he's not playing for Farioli, but he is killing it for Sporting.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just a ton of talent that comes through there. Like, you were talking about Jacob Kiwior and how Farioli's kind of reinvigorated his game. Absolutely.
Just signed a huge new contract with them too. Yeah,
like, I mean, he's just and he's promoting within the youth, and they're implementing his tactics at all levels. 15, 17, 19, 21, like all levels they are doing what Farioli wants. And man, like to just think about the game that he plays, it's just I love him. I love him. I want to see him eventually be able to. Yeah, like I'm not. At some point down the road, I would love. I'm not going to say Serie A, but I would want him at Inter.
Yeah, sorry guys. A quick little sidebar, a little football nerding out here. Let's shift over to this defense, because there's been a lot of conversation about the defense in the media recently. It looks like Muaremovic is practically wrapped up. Maybe Mosconi going the other way, alone with obligation. That kicks in from the first minute that is played in a game in February. Some shit like that, like one of those crazy Italian transfers. And apparently Solet also has agreed terms with Inter, doesn't want anybody else, and now it's just up to Udinese and Inter. So those are potentially some defensive reinforcements coming in. We know Akanji has re-upped.
So let's the kiss of death, though. It's not happening.
You don't think so?
Whenever we have an agreement with the player, it doesn't. Look at Bremer. Bremer said he only wanted us. We couldn't do it. Yeah, and we lost him. So,
well, Cairo is different than Udinese.
For sure,
a little different.
For sure, but I feel like we. I'm gonna wait and see. I think I agree with you on Muharemovic. I think that one's done. On Solet, I'm like, wait and see.
It looks like Masolin might also go the other way in the Udinese deal for Solet. So, but anyway,
I mean, that'd be dope. Anyway,
the point to bring that up is,
sorry, on the topic of Atta, on the topic of Udinese, what are your thoughts on Atta?
Somebody posted a comp the other day of Atta saying Pogba regen, and I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah, I'm not going that far, but
yeah, I mean, I am not as high on him as others are, and I'll tell you the specific reason the specific thing that I don't like about his game. The ball gets when he dribbles or when he's in tight spaces, the ball gets a little bit too far away from his feet. He's not a close control dribbler. He's like if he has enough space, he'll go right by you. And he does have good moves, and he's I just think he's susceptible to losing the ball a little bit more than others. And the other reason why I'm not as high, is that I don't think he's a 40 million euro player, and that's apparently what Udinese are asking for.
Oh,
and
that's no, never mind. Okay, that's all.
What do you think?
You should have just led with that.
What do you think?
If I heard 40 million for him, I would have laughed.
That's what they're asking.
Yeah, no, that's a 20 million player. Like, I just
for that I love it, but that's better value.
I
than
was
Luis
thinking of
Enrique.
him as like a rotational. Like, if Fratesi gets sold, that's a player I'd be okay like bringing in. I feel like he brings a different. Well, I think more influential characteristics in the midfield and definitely the dribbling skill. But yeah, you know what? I never really paid attention to him in tight spaces like that. So something I'll definitely
you'll
look
see it. You'll see it when you watch the tape.
into.
Okay. So back on the defense here. One of the things that I saw a lot of this week with the Pavard news coming back, apparently he wants to stay, and that should never happen. Let's just make that the official viewpoint of the Interviews pod. Pavard should not stay on this team.
We should not be cucks for him.
No. But what kept coming up is Akanji as a center back, and that he can't play that role. This is the new talking point on Inter Twitter. So I ask you, potentially Solet and Muramovic in, you maybe can hold on to Bastoni. You don't know what you're going to do with Bisek. Where in your perfect world for defense next year, Akanji's going to be on this team. Is it as a right center back or as a center back? And then tell me what you thought of his game today.
So if you watched this game and you thought Akanji was a problem, I would like to ask as why you would think that. Because for me, he was covering for Bastoni, who was going far up. He was covering for Bisek, who was going far up. And when those guys were making terrible challenges, although the Bisek one that got a yellow, I think he more so slipped than anything. But I mean, it's still a foul.
Way too early in the game to be handing out yellows.
Yeah, but he did slip. Like they're saying, oh, he came in with a late challenge. Like, no, he tried to plant his foot. Both feet went down, and then he still went. Like, regardless, I thought that he did good being the cover for those guys when they were pulled up or out of position and stuff. So I would say that listen, in a perfect world, he wouldn't be my center back. I would rather him stay outright and bring somebody in specifically for it. However, I don't think that's Solet. I feel like he's better on the right. I don't think Muramovic, he's too young although he looked good against Italy, playing more as a central defender for Bosnia, there's been times with Sassuolo where it doesn't look good.
No, the positioning has looked really poor in some games.
Yeah, and then some games he looks like he's locked in. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a maturity thing, like you need the right coaching to kind of teach you positional awareness and how to best position your body and be aware of those around you and stuff, and having, I feel like that's something where maybe Acerbi would be good to keep on staff kind of thing and have him work with a player like a Muramovic, because what Acerbi lacks in physical attributes, he makes up for in just smart. in the gray. Like he is a smart, cerebral defender. He is always looking left, right, behind. Like, he is always looking at what's around him. Now, if a ball does go over the top on him, he's getting beat, whereas Muramovic would be able to run him down no problem. But it is something where I feel like that's going to be more so a coaching thing, and how do you help a young defender develop more? It's not that I don't think that he's capable of it. You've seen it. He is capable of it. Like, he was fantastic against Italy. Like, I watched that game and I'm like, that's the Muramovic I want at Inter. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. I think that he would be better on the left. And this is why I'm kind of wondering what management is thinking, because a game like today, I was a little disappointed with Bisek defensively. Again, I feel like that he just is not getting it. I feel like some of his decision-making with passes was very dangerous. He put Sucic in a couple of bad situations in the first half, where one was just hit too hard, where it bounced off of Sucic and he had to track back and recover it. And he was fighting off, I forget who it was. It might have been Isaksen, but regardless of who it was, he had to fight somebody off. And then another one where Noslin almost took the ball and was off to the races there. So I kind of am at the point where it's like, I hope I would be more okay. Like, if somebody from Germany wanted to come in and spend 40-50 million on maybe 40 is more realistic on Bisek, I would be all for it if it means you keep Bastoni.
I would absolutely look at that for sure. It's a huge plus
Valenza. Huge. And I think any Interista would be thrilled with the prospect of, even though Bastoni had a horrendous year, I think you would feel much better about keeping him based on especially the season he had last year where he was phenomenal defensively than keeping Bisek. Like, it would be awesome. And then you could have Akanji there. I feel like Solet would be better in the center, although I think he's more comfortable in the right center back role. But
or left. He can play either. He can play all across the back three.
But I think that if my choices were Akanji on the right and then Solet in the middle and Bastoni on the left, I would be fine with that next season, to be quite honest. Like, I think Solet would be the better choice in the middle than Akanji, without a doubt, in my opinion.
My big problem with Akanji at center back is that balls across the middle, it doesn't. The perfect center back for me, center back in this kind of system, is De Vrij if you gave him plus 10 more pace or acceleration. If De Vrij was just quicker and a better athlete.
If I had De Vrij from 2017, perfect.
That's really what it is. I just don't like balls across the box with Akanji. I just don't think he's strong enough there. And the conversation with Solet and Muaremovic coming in, I do think makes the possibility of. I think the Bastoni thing is going to die out, and I do think he's going to be on this team next year. So I think Bisek and Carlos Augusto are both. If both Solet and Muaremovic come in, at least one of those two is gone.
And I think it has to be Bisek, personally.
Yeah.
I think you get the most value for him, unless an English team really wants Carlos Augusto.
I don't think
which at that point too, if one of them comes in and they want to spend money, yeah, have at it. Like I'd be okay with that too. Honestly, like if you brought, and this is why I wish we still had Zalewski, because I would feel much better about selling both if you still have Zalewski. Yeah, like it would be a no-brainer to me. But anyway, that's a whole other can of worms there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Listen, I can't wait to do what we're doing tomorrow with
it's gonna be very interesting
with Uncle. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're I'm gonna assume that if you're listening to us, you know who Uncle Sharma is. Tomorrow, Alessandro and I are gonna be on his stream doing buy, keep, sell on or I don't remember now. Keep, bench, sell, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But we're doing that about the Inter squad with Uncle Sharma tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I think that's 4 o'clock London time. Wherever you're going to be listening to, and then obviously if you're in the States, it'll be like 8 a.m. if you're in the Pacific. But whatever, tune into that because it'll be fun for sure to do something with Uncle Sharma.
The strikers get on the score sheet depending on whether or not you want to give Thuram that goal or not. FOTMob has it as Thuram's goal, so I'll just go with that.
Do they really?
They weren't super involved today, but they did their job. DiMarco gets the assist from the corner. But the person that I want to talk about here is Denzel Dumfries. Nima earlier in the year had said that Dumfries would be one of the people who would struggle with Kivu as the coach. Now, we didn't get a full season of Denzel under Kivu, but I think this end to the season has shown that what Kivu is asking for, which is, the aggressive press and the box crashing, Denzel does both of those things. We know that there's been multiple changes of agents here. We know that it would be incredibly difficult to pry Palestra from Atalanta. We also know that, technically Dumfries is maybe not the best player and his qualities lie elsewhere. I don't know, man. I'm getting more nervous about what this right side is going to look like if Denzel is not a part of it next year. He's very effective.
He is very effective. He does press like a maniac, which I love.
But 25 million for a 30-year-old right wing back is like.
I don't think it's that much.
I think is the release clause 20 or 25?
No, 25. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm saying in the I don't think it's that much to spend in today's market is what I'm
No,
saying.
it's a bargain.
We were asking 50 million for Perisic when he turned 30, and Man U tried to come in and get him because Mourinho wanted him badly there. So to get a guy like Dumfries for that cheap of a price, that's not a bad deal. It's definitely interesting to think about what could we possibly do on the right side. I've been looking at some guys, and funny enough, for me hating the French league so much, I feel like there's a lot of young talent there that I'm finding that could be potential wingback options. So I would just be curious to see how that could potentially turn out if we ended up going the route to sell someone. But yeah, when you think about Denzel Dumfries and his importance to the squad, it can't be underestimated. He is a player that I think fits this system. I do think that with the pressing and the effort that he puts into the defensive aspect now, where that used to be a massive liability for him, now it's more so of his strength because of how hard he's willing to work, run down people, outmuscle them for possession and stuff like that. I would be hard pressed to want to let him go. But if somebody pays that release clause, he also has kind of insinuated that he wants to leave, so we can't really argue it one way or another. If he wants out, do you really want to hang on to somebody who's not interested in being a part of the squad? I don't think so. So we'll see what we do. There's still chances with Dan and Doy maybe to maybe rekindle that relationship if Palestra is not realistic, but. Yeah, whether it's a Dan and Doy, whether it's a type of player like a Wilfred Sengo or somebody else. I know he's in Turkey now. We'll probably have some names that pop up that we're not even talking about now. So
yeah, the wing backs are going to be very important next year because we're not going to move away entirely from this 3 at the back and wing back system. So. We'll see what that looks like. I do think with his performance today, Luis Enrique has probably ruled himself out of being part of the right wing back rotation because he just, I don't know, he just struggles out there. It just doesn't look nearly as good as when it looks like.
He's way better on the left. It's
so much more comfortable.
Crazy.
It's so weird.
So much more comfortable. Even the chance that he had that went just wide, even when he took the shot, he looked uncomfortable taking it from that side. So, yeah.
And he also had a really good opportunity to take his man down the right-hand side that ended up dribbling out of play. I just don't think it's his strong suit, but we do have to give him his props because that Pedro, when he kicked the ball right in his face, is going to be a meme that may end up being eternal. So, vero interista, Luis Enrique. Anything else on this game you want to touch on before we get to the listeners here?
No, nothing.
All right. We have speak pipes?
Yep, I got it pulled up. This is from a very pissed off Inter fan.
Stella d'Argento Fratelli. Oh my God, what a performance. So far, so good. I know it's only halftime right now, but what a commanding performance. Hats off to Kivu in the tactics and just taking advantage of all the misplays by Lazio and just utterly dominating. I'm sorry. This is what it is. And it's only fitting that our last double was under Mourinho, and the guy that wins it next was one of the players that were on that team that won it, Christian Kivu. Hats off to him. Fully deserved. And last, but certainly not the least, if we don't put that fucking silver star on our shirt next year, I'm rioting. That's it. End of story. And if they don't, I hope that you guys in Jersey Bird can come up with a new jersey to find a way to get the 2 stars and the silver star on a jersey. And if that happens, I'll buy it. So keep that in mind, boys. Forza ragazzi. Got a second half to play here, but looks like it's in the bag. Forza Inter.
I got bad news for you. Marotta said in the pre-match press conference that they're not putting that on the jersey. So, Johnny, The Batman signal goes up. It's time for us to come through for the fans.
Listen, after the financial toll that I took last time, paying for those jerseys and waiting to get paid back, I don't know if I could do that again, because I still have 3 jerseys that people haven't paid me for. So,
you bastards.
You know what? Maybe I'll see what sizes I got for you, buddy, and I'll send it back. Because I'm actually, funny enough, I mean, this is all but I'm also like kind of friends with the owner and founder of Jersey Bird, because I was trying to get him to make the jerseys for Vegas. And we developed a pretty good working relationship. But maybe I could be like, hey, yo, this is a one-off. Can you do me a solid on this? I got a fan who wants it. Blah blah blah. We'll see. So maybe if they don't do it, maybe you'll have the same jersey that you have, just with the added patches on it or something. I'll make him do the Scudetto patch, the Coppa Italia patch, and the Silver Star for you, because it's already got the 2 stars on it. So,
listen, we are nothing if not good Americans and good capitalists. So if you guys make enough noise about it, I think we'll find a way.
Yeah. And if I get paid in advance instead of after the orders, and then we figure out shit, because shipping's where I lost even more money. Holy cow! For you guys who ordered in Australia, I got raked over the coals shipping that out to you.
Even Canada, I think too, right?
Canada was bad. Yeah, it was like $20, $25, and I was expecting like 11, 12 was what I was quoted. So whatever.
All right. Yes, that Andre. Whoever bought the Serie A guy a drone should be shot. So annoying. And my God, these Lazio players need a new stud sponsor. Can't stay on their feet for love or money. I did think that it was a little
theatrical.
It was a little theatrical. It was a little much. Like
Mario was going down.
Yep. Mario Gila in the second half too was embarrassing with the Lautaro hand up.
He's the way he was playing against us, it looks like he's already coded for Milan. So
yeah. A person 1352. Luis Enrique deserves a new contract for the ball he kicked at Pedro. Agree or disagree? I love the sentiment.
I did think that was funny. Yeah, that would be actually pretty hilarious if we just got another speak pipe in from Nick Costa.
Oh, should be good.
All right, I'll pull that up. But yeah, do I think he deserves another? No, but I do like that he kicked him in the face. He deserved it after that challenge on Di Monaco, which was pretty
after
scummy.
A lot, Johnny. He deserved that after a lot.
Yeah.
Should I finish these or go to Nick?
Yeah, you can finish this. I got it pulled up, though.
Lethio Ball, let's go. Absolutely buzzing. A league and cup double from a PE teacher, apparently. That shut up the Kivu haters. Forza Inter. The agendas.
Wow, directed at Huyan and Nima there.
The agendas were very strong this season, and that's the problem with the agendas, man. That's the problem. At M8 Zeki, which I wonder if M6 Zeki, M7 Zeki, I wonder if these are all the different iterations of how many times he's been suspended. Nonetheless, he never fails to comment. I don't care if we have a $200 million budget this summer. I want Pep Martinez as our starting goalkeeper for next season. That kick by Luis Enrique was the best thing he's done all season. Facts.
Amen.
SC Chad, let's go. At Chalabal, Johnny, thoughts on Mike Grella saying Inter should extend Mickey for one more year in the post-match? LMAO, let's go, boys. Extend him off of what? What happened today that was a comment? I didn't see the post-match.
You know what? I didn't either, but if I would have heard Mike Grella say that, I would have tweeted at him relentlessly for being an absolute muppet. Yeah, for what purpose? What purpose? Like, somebody else did say that too. And I want to slap them. I can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, also shout out Sharma again, because I watched his episode post the weekend match against Lazio, and somebody said to Sharma that he was the biggest Mickey hater, and Sharma stopped him in his tracks right away. And he said, "Whoa, I don't have a problem with Mickey." He's like, "But the president of the Mickey Hater Club is Johnny over at the Interviews Pod." And I was like, yep, I'll take that. I will gladly take that and wear that badge proudly, because I am his biggest hater. And I didn't see anything that he did. Listen, he didn't do anything that was bad today, but there's no shot in the universe that you extend him a year. I don't care. I don't care if you tell me he's only going to play one game all season. You don't bring him back.
We are not trying to go backwards, okay? You are gifted an opportunity. I tweeted this after the game. The convergence of year one of a new project and the last year of the old one ends in a domestic double. The opportunity to build a dynastic squad is right in front of Oaktree and Marotta. Thank the veterans for these beautiful years and operate like sharks in the market. Younger, more athletic, hungrier, more technical, tougher. Get this right so we can have many more nights like this. Mickey not being renewed is part of that, okay? Stop playing games. Stop playing games. You have a golden opportunity where these guys are coming off of the books, okay? Move on. Let's go. That's all.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't agree more. Yeah, like that's it. Say goodbye. You want a domestic double. Don't come back. Like, thank you. Enjoy the trophies. Move on.
All right, that's all the comments. Nick is
okay.
Up.
Let me pull up the speak pipe from Nick.
I'd say Forza. Inter. There we go, boys. Domestic double accomplished. Get to enjoy my little girl. Forza Inter to all my brothers and sisters around the world. We did it. And then this Sunday we lift the Scudetto. Very happy. Love you guys. Take care.
That was awesome, Nick. I appreciate you. One, already training your daughter to be a little Interista.
For life.
I think you got her a kid, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool. But do we actually lift the Scudetto this weekend?
This weekend is
Isn't this match day 37?
Yeah, but is it at home? It's got to be, right? Because
yes, the match is at home.
Yeah. So this weekend is the Guard of Honor and the trophy lift.
Thank you, Hellas.
Thank you, Hellas. God, I'm so happy to not have that team in Serie A anymore. Ciao. Ciao.
See you never, boys.
Right. I think I'm
That's
good
it for me.
I think I'm good. Incredible from the team. We lift our second trophy of the year. Man, it feels good. After this year, it feels really, really good. In the words of the great Roberto Scarpini, Forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.